Hey, my name is Carmen, and I want to say a big hello if this is our first time meeting, or if you've been over here on this page before, if you've seen some of the training that has come from Destiny Global or DannyJohnson.com. Maybe you've heard about some of the live events called First Steps to Success, or Creating a Dynasty, or Hot Marriage Secrets. This training has been around and has had a proven track record for more than 30 years. In fact, I first started with this exact same training back in 2006. In 2006, I was a young wannabe, a wannapreneur. I was a wannapreneur wanting to become an entrepreneur. And I was somebody who had all the big dreams and the aspirations, but there was where I was and there was where I wanted to be. And the thing that was missing was the how-to. Like, how do I go from where I'm at to where I want to be? How do I go from this wannapreneur to a thriving, succeeding entrepreneur? And that's where I was. I had started to figure some things out in my early 20s. I had gotten my business at the time up to $720,000 per year, but I was working 80 to 90 hours a week. I was burnt out. I was stressed out. And I really was on my way to a nervous breakdown, which I didn't know at the time. And when I first heard about this training, I had heard the multiple stories. I had heard the testimonials of where they were, and they plugged into this training, which at the time had like a 15-year track record, and this is where they were at now. And that compelled me. It moved me from being a skeptic. It moved me from being on the fence. It moved me from being stuck where I was and all my I don't have times and I don't have the money and, all the reasons that I could come up with in that moment, to actually attending my very first training, which was First Steps to Success. And within 18 short months of that moment, within 18 short months of that decision, I took that young business from $720,000 per year, working 80 to 90 hours a week, up to $3.7 million, all while cutting my hours in half, going from working 80 to 90 hours a week down to 40. So quadrupling the income while cutting the hours in half. And in that moment, I knew that I had stumbled onto something that was really big. Since then, my husband and I have went on to create millions and millions and millions of dollars in business. We have raised up other people who have done millions of dollars in business. We work a part-time schedule. Today, I'm a mom of 3. I am a wife. We're business owners, and we are trainers here with Destiny Global. And one of my biggest passions is helping people go from where they're at, which is stressed and stuck and not knowing what to do and when to do it and how to do it, and helping them cross the bridge from wannapreneur to entrepreneur, from stress and struggling and striving to success, from hard to showing them simple steps, helping them cross over from where they're at to where they want to be. And tonight, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Tonight, we are going to do this is our client spotlight call, if you will. And we are going to be shining the spotlight. We're going to be interviewing. We're going to be talking to 4 of Destiny Global's clients that just came out of one of our last training events, First Steps to Success in Orlando, Florida. And we're going to be talking to them about what has happened. Where were they and where are they now? Where were they before they plugged into this training, and where are they today? So I hope you brought some ears to hear, some eyes to see. I hope you are ready to be inspired, because these individuals are freaking amazing, and I can't wait to introduce you to them. So first up, I want to go ahead and bring on Miss Dana Geyer. Dana, what is up, girl? So Dana, welcome to the call tonight. I keep not knowing what to call this. I'm like, is it a call? Is it a broadcast? Welcome to the meeting tonight. So Dana, go ahead and share with us. What has happened.
Well, I started coming to the events that Destiny Global puts on back in 2015, and it has given me amazing skill sets, first off, to pay off some debt, and then I actually stepped out in major faith with some awesome skills and actually left corporate America and started my own business. And in just a very short time, I would say roughly about a year in business, and then in a 3-month span, I not only doubled my business, I almost tripled it. And some of the skills that I've actually brought out of these training events have actually been able to help land clients by being able to communicate with them, how to honor them, how to understand them, and then also learning how to direct them to an actual decision and basically committing to work with me.
That is amazing. So hold up, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What you didn't mention and what you mentioned to me was the timing of all this. So let's rewind for a second because we all know what's been going on for the past 18 months. So Dana, what was the timing of you leaving corporate America and starting that business?
So I left corporate America in September of 2019, and I decided to start my business kind of October, November. And then this massive global pandemic hit. And I was like, OMG, what do I do now? And I did have a small moment and had a little meltdown, but I had some great encouraging people surrounding me. And then, I had a moment of meltdown, and then I was like, they kind of encouraged me back up, and I just plowed wheels to the ground, and I just kept things going. And it was really challenging at first because I did lose a couple clients, people. I have what most people would call a luxury business or a skill that I provide, and some people cut that, and I understand that. But I had skill sets in my back pocket and in my tool belt that I was able to go meet new clients, go find other little side hustles, little side gigs, and plowed through a pandemic, and I'm still standing on 2 feet. And not only am I standing on 2 feet, I'm actually ready for, I'm going to call it the next wave. I'm ready for that next thing that's going to drop, whatever that is, when the other shoe drops. I'm ready for it because I have amazing skills that I've been trained with.
Yes, Dana. So I love the fact that you offer a luxury service. So Dana has a cleaning service where she comes in and she cleans homes and businesses and gives you the most sparkliest toilets you've ever seen.
Yes.
And it has so much fun providing that service. But through a pandemic, which nobody, obviously when you left corporate America, you had no idea that that was coming down the pipeline. And not only when people were panicking and we had the highest unemployment numbers and businesses were folding left and right, because of the skills you gained at First Steps to Success, creating a dynasty, you were able to double, almost triple your income.
And
competitors were going out of business.
And I was paying off debt in the process.
Okay, wait a minute. How much debt did you pay off during a freaking pandemic?
I don't know the whole total, but I can tell you I paid off a car.
A car.
Yeah.
Girlfriend, that is crazy. Now, you were just at our last event in Orlando, Florida.
I was.
And you had some results coming out of there.
I did. Oh my gosh, I was so jazzed when I left that event. Obviously, it was great to see all of my friends and some people I've, met along the way, made new friends, brought 2 people home with me, which was super fun. And they came to the beach for a couple days and just hung out in South Florida. It was so awesome. And then my favorite part was some of the skills that I literally brought home from that event from some of the trainers was I was able to upsell a client he asked me for a service that I do provide, but normally, sometimes my nature would be just oh, I can go ahead and take care of that. But no, I was nope, this is my value. This is my price. I can do this or this. I guided him to a decision to say, do you want 1 or 2? Do you want A or B? Yes. And so that was so amazing. And then on top of that, I had an old client who had to drop me during the pandemic because one of the spouses lost their job. Understandable, budget was cut, and they contacted me and said, hey, do you do dog, sitting services? And I'm like, why, yes, I do. And not only did I basically land this little gig because I built a relationship with them back when they were my clients for a couple of months, but I was able to actually upsell them as well that while I'm sitting for their dog, I'm going to actually clean their house and make a lot. So super exciting. These skills have literally changed my life, and I truly mean that.
Isn't it amazing? I always tease with my husband, and I'm like, when you put these skills in your toolbox and you learn how to close, you learn how to get more clients, you learn how to move a client from a maybe to a yes, that you could be dropped out of an airplane in any part of the world and make money.
And during a pandemic.
A to the men, sister. A to the men. Dana, it has been, and I love how you said it's not just business. Like you've created some amazing relationships. And what I love about the community is, birds of a feather flock together. And we are the sum total of the 5 closest people to us. And, it's just like if you were to go hang out in a room full of motivated people going nowhere, that rubs off on you. And it's the same way when you start hanging out with people that are focused and determined and driven and want to have an impact, that also rubs off on you. And so Dana, it's been so great to see you grow. It's been great to see your teachability, your faithfulness, and I cannot wait to see as you continue to gain skills. And I know I'm going to say, because I always see you at events. You're always there. You're taking notes. You're looking for that next nugget that's going to move you to the next level. And so proud of you. You are doing amazing. And I can't wait to see what else you are going to do as you continue to grow your skill.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm so excited.
I can tell your voice is like, yes, take that pandemic.
I know. And it's funny because I don't think of it sometimes as like all the things that I've done in a pandemic. I'm just like, oh, I've done this. And oh, well, that kind of sucked. And then, oh, I did these little things over here. And then I'm like, I don't always see the bigger picture. So sometimes I need those people to be like, but you did it in the middle of a pandemic.
Right. Well, because when you have these skill sets, you forget that the rest of the world is suffering.
Yeah.
Because those outside issues of pandemic, unemployment, again, everybody doesn't suffer the same. So you almost forget sometimes how bad the rest of the world is hurting because you've gained the skill to thrive in any situation. And so amazing. So amazing. All right. If you thought she was something, up next, wait till you meet this guy. I was reminded, I've heard his story, and today as him and I were chatting, I got done listening to what has happened in his life, and I was just like, wow, this is incredible. So please help me welcome Mr. Aaron to the call, to the broadcast. Hey, Aaron.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, my pleasure. If you could go ahead and share what has happened since you started plugging into the training at Destiny Global.
Well, it kind of goes back 2 years. My wife found a First Steps to Success on a Facebook ad, and she decided to go, and I said, great, have fun. I'll watch the kids. And she came back absolutely energized. She said, I've learned more in a weekend business conference than I have at church in the last few years. Wow. And that got my attention. And she said, I want you to listen to this one snippet of a CD about time secrets, she said, just how to use your time. And it applied to my life at the time because I was spending so much time at work and I wasn't spending time at home, and we weren't getting ahead financially. So it felt like we were spinning our wheels. And I was like, wow, it was very apropos at the moment. So I took what I heard, I applied it, even though I didn't attend First Steps to Success yet. I applied it, and that started the wheels in motion. And by the end of 2019, I had quit my job, and I started doing something I love, and that's teach. I've always wanted to teach. So I am now teaching in the very field that I've always been in my whole life.
Wow.
And I found myself home with my family more. I'm helping my wife homeschool. I'm actually taking over the lion's share of homeschooling our kids. And on top of that, I have something in common with Dana, and I started my own business in the middle of the pandemic. And it's been hugely successful in its first year. I did over 6 figures in sales in the first 7 months.
Wow. Wait a minute. Repeat. So over 6 figures in sales in the first 7 months.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry. I just want to make sure I heard that number right.
Yeah. And this year, I just looked at the numbers. I'm going to beat last year because I have 12 months to work this year rather than 7 months, but I've already beat last year's numbers at this point as of last month. So God has been so good. We have more money than we ever have, and we're together more than we ever have been. It's given us the opportunity to be together as a family, to do things together that we have always wanted to do. We're planning a vacation at the end of this year that was completely out of our reach before. We're going to be giving our kids experiences that we only dreamed of giving them. And we're all so excited, my wife and I included.
Oh my goodness, Aaron. Your story is freaking incredible because you really have defied all the odds, right? Like you went from being an employee, not spending time with your family, not giving your kids the memories that obviously is in your heart as a father to give them, being away from the home more than you wanted to be, to starting a business, arguably maybe in the worst time that you ever could have picked to start one. But because you had been prepared with the tools of time management, the tools of closing, the tools of how to run a profitable business. Listen, 98% of most businesses fail because of lack of skill by the owner. And here was an owner, you, who didn't lack skill, who had gained skill, and in the first 6-7 months did 6 figures. What does that feel like to know that, like what does that feel like?
It feels like a dream. Like I always thought that running a business meant that you were in shackles and chains to it and that you never got to have any fun, that you were stressed out. I thought I would be gray and bald by the time if I ever took on a business. And although I may be losing hair, it's not because of my job. I'm very thankful for what I have and the fact that it's not what it's not that persona or what I always thought it was going to be. I can do this and have fun at the same time. I can do this and be happy at the same time. And I'm building all these relationships with people, which I always found very easy, but it's like now I'm serving them and it gets to be stronger. These relationships get stronger and it's so great.
And I can just hear like the excitement in your voice. Like, well, how has this impacted your family? Like, what do your kids think about all this? Because this was a big change for them to see this shift.
Yeah, at first they were a little hesitant because they didn't know. They have those same ideas that meant Dad would be working all the time and stuff. But I think now that we're going on this big trip and we're like, hey, this is because of the business. Like things have changed and they like having Dad around more than he used to be. So it's good, especially my 2 youngest are my girls, and they love hanging out with me all the time. So, and I get to do stuff with my boys that I never got to do before. It's just last week we got to go hang out. I got to take one to work with me all day, and then the other 2 came and joined me and him. We hung out all night that night. So it's so good.
That's incredible. And I don't know, like once you experience this kind of life and this kind of fatherhood and having the flexibility to go on vacation and making more money than you've ever made. Like, do you ever look back and think, wow, like what would have happened if your wife didn't go to that event? And if you didn't listen to that snippet and if you wouldn't have been equipped with the training you would have been equipped with? Do you ever look back and go, gosh, this was such a pivotal moment?
Totally. Yeah. I think it was a watershed moment in our family's history because I gave her a lot of resistance. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to listen to it. I thought that she came back kind of crazy, a little like way too excited, like I was like, all right, that's nice. It'll wear off in a little bit, I'll admit it. I thought it was just a passing phase. And I'm thankful for my wife's persistence and her loving persistence in all of it. And that we work well together and we've learned our personalities and how they do work well together. And we've learned it even in some of the events that we've gone to.
That's amazing. And I love your transparency. I love how you just own it. And you're like, yeah, I was that skeptic.
Totally.
I was too. Don't worry, Aaron. I was a big skeptic too. So you were just at our last live event in Orlando, Florida. And I loved one of the things that you said, because you came out of that and you got because you've been to several events, right? And so why come back to another one? Because you've already been to a couple, you're having success, you're beating last year's numbers, you're thriving through a pandemic. Why would you come to another event?
Oh, I think it's the accountability. And that's what we talked about before we left. It's the accountability that if you don't keep going, you get kind of relaxed and you fall back into some bad habits. Yeah. And it's good to have the community around you to encourage you. You always meet new people. I mean, I met new people, and I've actually been talking. We've been Facebook messaging almost every day with some of the people I've met, just to check in and see how we're doing. So to have that to keep you on track, to know that I'm going to see them again, they're going to ask me how I'm doing. What have I been doing to continue growing my business? It's the accountability. That's why I enjoyed it.
100%. And you know what I also love is as you're growing your business. So when you first started at your very first event, you were there in your current situation, right? Which was stressed out, burnout, unsure. And as you grow your business, like the last event you were just at, you came in not as a stressed out employee. You came in as an entrepreneur with a six-figure business. You're in a completely different place. So you're learning completely different things. You're hearing completely different things than you did. Never the mind that, there's never an event that's ever the same. But wow. What was your biggest takeaway after the last event?
People before tasks. Remember to take care of the people around you before you check that next thing off the task list, because that person that's talking to you, they may need a few minutes of your time, and that few minutes of your time may mean more to them than checking that one thing off your list. And that's a hard thing for me to do, so I've been constantly reminding myself of that.
That's amazing. Erin, you floor me. You inspire me. Like you are, you're just incredible. And I know you're an inspiration of what can happen when you're faithful with the little and you're diligent of what's in front of you and you're willing to bet on yourself. And your kids are so very blessed to have you and your wife leading the way you're leading. And so incredible. Thank you for being on here with us tonight. Like,
thank you.
Really
thank you for having me, and thank you for giving us these events to help us grow more.
You are welcome. All right. Up next, our pregnant mama, Miss Alyssa. We were talking before we got started, and I told her, so when are you due? And she's like, oh, a couple weeks. Awesome. I said, not during this live. So please help me welcome Miss Alyssa. Hi.
Hello. Hi. Thank you for having me. I feel so honored to be here with all of you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here. Like you are, how pregnant are you?
36 weeks.
Oh my goodness. So you crossed
Yes, we're getting there.
What are you having?
We do not know. We're letting this one be a surprise.
Nice.
Yep.
That's amazing. So you're going to wait until the doctor's like, it's a...
Yes. I figured it might give me a little bit more motivation, right, to get to that end part and get it done with.
I think that is amazing. Well, congratulations. I cannot wait to see pictures of he or she, whatever it is. Do you know it's just one though, or is that a surprise too?
Just one.
Okay. That is amazing. So Alyssa, please share with us, please tell what has happened in your life. Share what has happened.
Before coming to the event, my husband and I just struggled so much. Just struggled with communicating, struggled with feeling like we were on the same page, going the same direction. We really were just on the brink of divorce, going into debt, even more debt every single day. I was struggling in the home-based business that I was doing. And even just after those first two events, I was able to jump into a business where out of 70 people, my very first month, I was the top sales out of a team of 70. And my husband and I learned how to communicate with each other in an honoring way, and I was really able to just understand who he was, where he was coming from, and really start loving those things that would annoy me so much beforehand. But then the last year, we've really seen the biggest change because last July, I committed to 1 year of attending these events. And in that last year, we bought a chiropractic office. My husband's a chiropractor. We bought an office, and we took that office and doubled the numbers
Wow.
since then, and it's been a year, and we've doubled those numbers. We've paid off over $31,000 in debt. We've saved over $20,000, invested, I think, over $13,000, bought our new family vehicle with another baby coming. We had to get a bigger vehicle, and we bought that in cash. And just my everyday relationships have just grown so much. I used to be scared to talk to people. Like, my face would get beet red, my hands would sweat. Like, when I first started, my goal was to say the cashier's name at the store because I was so nervous just to talk to anyone. And now I love going and starting conversations with people and learning about them and just seeing how I can serve them. So
that is incredible. I don't even know where to start. I'm like, okay, almost divorced, like going nowhere in your business. Your husband was a chiropractor, but he didn't have his own practice.
Right.
Like, so, okay, let's just start at square one. Using the skills that you've learned at the events, your marriage went from knocking on divorce's doorstep to like liking to be around him.
Yeah. I mean, we were to the point where we were living in a different state than my family, and I told him I was moving back home with my family. And then now we're expecting our third child. So, I mean, I like him a little bit.
And the thing was, like, you came to a business conference.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the side effect from learning people skills and developing yourself, did you ever think one of the side effects of that was going to be saving your marriage, healing your marriage?
No, not what I expected at all. I was just coming to learn how to make more money.
Gosh, I love that. That is so amazing. And I don't know if you found this, but when there's peace in the home and when there's harmony in the marriage, everything else in business is so much easier.
Yes. Yeah, it is, especially when you work together.
Oh my goodness. Yes. It goes from being World War like to some peace and love and not.
Yes.
So, okay. You went from, tell me about the home-based business again. You went from doing what to what?
This was a few years ago, but with that business, I actually changed businesses so I was at zero with this new business, but I was struggling in the previous one, went to this new one, and in the first month, I topped sales out of a 70-person team.
So in an industry where you were struggling, like goose egg, like striking out left and right, to coming out of that event and those kind of results, what changed? Like, how does one go from goose egg to that in this amount of time?
The communication skills, that was my biggest thing, and really focusing on how can I help this person rather than just trying to shove what I was doing down people's throat, basically.
Yes. I love it. Yeah. Right. You learned how to be a professional. You learned the words to say and what to use, which is what we teach at First Steps to Success and even the business conferences and creating a dynasty. And then there's a common theme I'm noticing with you that have been on here tonight. So you guys you started a chiropractic office during a pandemic.
Yes. So we bought it. We bought a chiropractic office from a doctor. And then I actually, while running my husband's office, started my own business as well. So yeah, during a pandemic, and we were just, why not? Now's the time. Right? Why not?
But isn't it when you have the skills, things like the pandemic no longer scare you. Things like other people are going out of business no longer scare you. You start to go from, I don't know if we should. It's like, hey, they went out of business, less competition. Like, we got the skill to do that. Like, isn't that crazy? How when you have the right skills, it increases your confidence?
Yeah. Yeah. You just are able to step out and just feel confident in yourself and know that you can make it happen. I mean, you're the one thing within that it's either going to make or break it. And when you have these skills, it's not a question.
Right. It's 100% agree. And I love how you shared how you used to be. Because listen, as long as I've known Alyssa, I've never known you to be some quiet, non-smiling person that didn't want to talk to people. So it's so crazy to hear that that's where you were. And to see you now smiling and talking and communicating like it's like, I would just think you were a social butterfly, but that hasn't always been the case.
No, not at all. Oh my gosh, I used to get so nervous and, oh, am I going to say the wrong thing? What if I say the wrong thing, or they're going to judge me, or I don't know. I would just get so nervous, and just learning what I learned and realizing, like, the biggest thing I think was it's not about me when I start talking to people, and that freed me. It's not about what I say. It's not about even me speaking. It's about just being there to talk to this person and to serve them and to make them feel special and important. And that was huge.
That's so good. And I love that because, listen, there's a lot of us that use, I'm not a people person, or I don't know the right things to say, or I don't know what to do, or what if I look stupid? And we allow that to keep us stuck. And so I love that you are a perfect example of when you get the right training, what can happen. You don't have to stay there. And so, you're amazing. Like, you really do inspire me. And it's such a joy to see you at the events. You're always sitting forward. You're taking notes. You're smiling. And thank you so much for being on here tonight. Thank you for sharing your story. No doubt somebody that was watching this tonight, how could you not be inspired after hearing that? I mean, give me a freaking break. You're incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, my pleasure. Frick, I feel like, I'm like, how is, like, my job tonight is interviewing these 4 freaking amazing people, like, whatever. What a blessing. All right. Please help me welcome our last guest for the night. And this is such a treat. So we've had individuals, we've had representations of different families, but our last guest is coming to you, and this is the Walls family. Hello. Welcome. And so will you guys introduce yourselves to our audience?
Yeah, we're the Walls family. We live here in Florida.
So welcome, Walls family. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. So go ahead and tell us your names for the audience.
Okay. We're the Walls family. I'm Chris. My wife is Janina. Our oldest son is Samuel. And
wrong one.
Sam,
Lucas.
Samuel.
Well, hi guys, welcome to the broadcast. So go ahead and let everybody know what has happened in your life since you started plugging into the events and using the training.
Well, we did, like many of them, we bought a business in April last year, just before our governor shut down the state. And personally, to me, that has affected our family the most is because we did apply some of the things that we have learned organically, because it has to change inside of us first. We had to get it for us. We needed to put it into practice for ourselves. And we had so many victories, in a sense, that okay, we're communicating better. You know, our family, it's thriving. We no longer dealing with, with confrontations or, stuff like that. For me personally, was the restoration that these events had taught us how to succeed, bring a restoration and reconciliation with people, family, friends, and that's what we do. I mean, we thrive.
But we this past event, we actually were able to bring not only my parents, my mother and father, as well as my sister, but we also were able to, we invited our pastors, and they were able to come to the event as well. And they were, from a business event, they basically had told us that they had seen something that was missing from the church, that they saw it represented. And so that was a very impactful for them. So not only has it impacted our family, but it impacted our extended family as well as our church family. and they're planning on bringing more people. So as well, we bring people for our business.
And now we're
as well.
getting to bring our business people with us on the next events.
Yeah, and our kids as well.
Yes, kiddos. I want to hear from you for a moment. So how has it been watching your parents go through this transition and plug into the training? What have you seen?
So definitely I've seen a lot of change throughout their stature, their emotions. I've also learned to communicate better with my brother, who don't exactly get along a lot. So.
Oh, you're awesome. Well, I just want to let you guys know that you have amazing parents. And it's not everybody's parents out there who put that they allow their children to get training like this that's going to impact their lives, give them financial training, people skills, learning how to deal with different personalities right where they're at. And so I'm super proud of you. And I got to meet you too at the last event. And I was so impressed with how you communicated, how you talked, how you paid attention throughout the event. You were honorable. And you are the kind of examples that I point out to my kids. So thank you for being a great example. Thank you for being teachable. Thank you for trusting your parents that they know what's best. You guys are amazing. And I love that you guys bought a business like literally right before things got shut down.
We did.
Yeah, just about it was a week or so.
Yep.
That was most people that would have been ruin, filing for bankruptcy, but that hasn't been your story.
Right.
Right. Yeah, we bought it with our family. Our family bought it together, my wife and I, and parents, my sister. And through it, we actually did well in the past. And we utilized some of the skills that we had learned through the Global Destiny events. And so
we hire people.
Yeah, we hire people differently now.
We started with 8 people. We are up to 15. So we were nervous, but we had this skill set.
So you not only purchased the business right before things shut down, it's thriving, it's profitable, but you're also providing jobs to the community. You started with 8 employees and now you're up to 15. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, by the end of this year, that's going to grow even more. So thank you guys so much for being the incredible example, for being an example of faithful with the little, for being such an encouraging family, for being a light on a hill for other families, for other parents, because can you imagine if you would have had this information from a child, how powerful that would have been?
Many times, if we had the opportunity to have this information when we were young, how many less mistakes, how strong our relationships would have been.
Yeah.
So we're very fortunate, and we've talked about, we're very fortunate to be able to take the information and the events and the skill sets and teach our children. In fact, we were discussing with our oldest son, he was wanting an idea about running a business. And so we were going through and encouraging him to look at the life map and going through and write a little business plan.
Yeah.
So
freaking awesome. Thank you guys for being on. Thank you for sharing. And before we go, I'm going to bring you all to the screen. And I want you to, in 10 or 20 seconds, I want you to speak to the person watching who has given up and given in, who maybe thinks, yeah, that's great for them, but you don't know my situation, who has lost hope, who thinks that their past is determining their future, who's been a victim of the economy and the pandemic. I just want you to say 1 or 2 sentences of that person who is watching today and is wondering, yeah, it worked for you, but would it really work for me? So go ahead, Dana.
The only person stopping you is you, and you have to make the choice to change.
Go ahead, Aaron.
I was caught up in work and I had lost sight of my dreams, but my dreams are alive and vibrant again. So don't ever lose sight of your dreams. Let them come alive.
All right, Mama, Miss Alyssa.
I was in a hopeless position, and I just know when you dig in, when you invest in yourself, when you say that you are worth it, it is just going to blow your mind, and you are going to be able to have a testimony like we do.
All right, Walls family.
My is you can own a business, succeed in your family and your relationships without sacrificing your health, your relationship.
Be faithful with the little. It has led us to great things. We learn a lot of success by being faithful with little.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Be faithful with the little, be made rule over much. And you're obviously living proof of that. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, all of you, for your inspiring, for being transparent, for being teachable. And I know I'll be seeing many of you at our upcoming event in Dallas, Texas. We're going to have so much fun. Freaking incredible. So inspiring. You know, when you listen to the three individuals in the Walls family that we had on here tonight, it's really hard to not be inspired. It's really hard to not say, wow, the only thing that separates me from them is a decision. The decision they made to step up, to rise up and do something great with their lives. I know most of them are going to be at the Dallas Business Results Conference. Why? Because the system, the training has gotten them results. And now there's not just them coming. They're bringing their employees. They're bringing their staff. They're bringing their family. Because when you've been transformed, you now feel compelled to help others transform. You know, when I first heard this message back in 2006, it transformed my life. It transformed my business. And when I became transformed, I became a spreader of the message of, hey, bringing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people through this training system. Not because I made money from it, but because I wanted to see lives changed. I wanted to see lives and families and communities impacted. And so I want to give you a personal invite to go down to the link below, click add to cart, get your spot, reserve your ticket, and join me for our Business Results Conference in September. There's going to be stories created, lives changed, businesses changed. Let's have yours be one of them. I'll see you in Dallas, Texas.